And Andy King, the head wrestling coach at John Glenn, joins me for this segment of the Coaches Show for Saturday morning. I always like getting with the wrestling coaches around the area early in the year and give a little highlight of their team and what they look forward to for the season. I thought, why don't we start with your girls? They got off and running first. You've had some girls over the years that have been very good. This year you got a few more that have probably some lofty goals.
Yeah. We've only got 4 girls on our team. Um, Currently, 2 of them are injured, unfortunately.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's been a uphill battle to get some dual meets and some competitions to where they all get experience. But the 2 that are still competing, Britton Whitmer and Maya Lichtenberger, are having pretty successful seasons so far, and looking forward to seeing them at the first of the year in the girls sectional make some waves.
If I remember right, they did rather well in the tournament last year, didn't they?
Yeah, we Britt was a state qualifier last year, and Maya was one. She lost in the ticket round basically at the regional to qualify. So she was 1 match short, but yeah, we're hoping to punch 2 tickets this season with those girls.
The 2 girls that are hurt, are they going to be able to return, or are they kind of season ending?
Um, well, pending MRI results, but
Oh
we're
yeah,
hopeful. I think they're feeling pretty well, but um, we're optimistic.
yeah.
Emma O'Hara is a freshman, first year wrestler. Um, she wrestled in a JV meet and got a couple wins there. And um, the last match of that tournament is when she got hurt, so she hasn't competed since. So we're holding out hope that she can at least come back and get some experience and some competitions under her belt to build on her high school career. And then we got senior Maggie Nowak uh, wrestling 190 for us, and she's made leaps and bounds from. This is her 3rd year with the program, and uh, we're optimistic that she can find her way through the state tournament series and have some success there.
How do you feel about it? This is what, the second year that girls wrestling has been a sanctioned sport. I mean, it seems like
Yes,
it, it
correct.
it's really starting to. I mean, Triton, I think, has a full team.
Yeah,
Um,
it's unreal. I don't. Every time we go to somewhere, I ask these, and it's a lot of small schools too. And I'm
yeah,
like, how are you getting all these girls on your team? And the answers are everything under the sun, and we just haven't been able to gain any ground there. So uh, one of these days we'll find that magic potion and hopefully get some more contributing athletes to the girls team.
I know at Plymouth it was a case of the girls that were already wrestling went out and they recruited their friends, and a
Right.
lot of girls when they get out there they find out they really like it.
Yep. Yeah. The competitive atmosphere, the the individual aspect, I think, is intriguing to uh, girls athletics. Because I don't, other than golf or tennis or
Right.
the track and field, there's not very many other avenues to not be a team sport, but have that self reliance and mentality and mindset of it's all on me type of uh, mentality to compete and excel in it. And I think that's intriguing to a lot of these young women.
Let's talk about your guys now. I mean, over the years, you guys are one of the solid programs around in Plymouth and Bremen and Glen, and your competition level is through the roof in your conference. I mean,
Right,
how do you
right.
how do you feel about your bunch this year?
Well, we're a young group. We've got 2 seniors on the team. Um, One of them's currently hurt from football, so he's yet to see the mat. But very very inexperienced, and the one positive I feel with our boys team so far this year is the work ethic. They show up every day. They're working hard. They're getting better, and we're definitely young and don't have a whole lot of experience under our belts, but every time out we're competing better and applying those things that we've been working on in practice in those matches, and results have been pretty good so far in this early season.
That's the work ethic thing is really almost kind of a given with wrestlers, isn't it? I mean, you don't even get involved with the sport unless you're willing to. I mean, there's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a hard thing, and a lot of kids find out that a week or two in that it's not really for them, and they kind of fade out. But the kids that stick with it know that it's a grind, and the only way to get better is to keep grinding, and as you keep grinding, those victories start to pile up, and it starts to be fun. That's when the fun is had.
I mean, I got to feel like there's also a little bit of the idea of, like you mentioned before, it's an individual sport. There's nobody but you and that other guy in the light out there, and then that kind of learning to have that self-reliance has got to be a big part of why guys get involved.
Yeah, for sure. And we talk about it in the practice room all the time. It's, yeah, you're competing against somebody, but every day in the practice room, you're competing against yourself. How can I do more? Can I push myself this a little extra to get that advantage, to where I can raise my abilities and compete with the higher ranked kids, or maybe somebody I shouldn't be able to beat, but then I'm pushing them into deep waters, and I'm competitive and all that stuff. So it's a more of a fight against yourself in the daily practice room. So
talk about some of your guys. I mean, I'm sure you've got some folks that you have hopes are going to go deep in the tournament. Mention a few of them.
Yeah, we're excited. We've got we've wrestled 7 times this year. We had a super duel in North Newton that got snowed out, so we've only had 7 matches. But some of our younger guys are doing well, and we got a freshman, Ryder Wroblewski. He's 6-1 on the season so far, at 120 pounds. Returning sophomore Kyle Hudgen. He's undefeated, 7-0 so far at 113. DJ Martin is a junior this year. He's wrestled with us all through elementary school, and has stuck it out and has got success this year. He's currently 7-0 as well. And then our junior heavyweight Morgan Cobe, returning. He was a 20 match winner last year. Really gained ground and had some success last year. He's 6-1 on the season. So we're excited with some of the individuals we've got, but the little bit of holes we have in our lineups at 106 pounds, we're empty at 150. So we've got some holes, but excited about the young kids coming in and getting their feet wet.
I was going to say, you got a freshman and a sophomore in there. It sounds like those two are having really good years, and it usually takes a little time to get that savvy from the mat. I mean, are those two guys that have been wrestling now for a while?
Ryder's. Yep. Ryder's been wrestling again since he was in elementary school in our club level, and then he does a bunch of the extra training over at Midwest Regional Training Center, and anywhere he can get into a room, he eats, sleeps, breathes it. And Kyle Hudgen he wrestled all through middle school with us, and he's plays football at the high school, and he's a competitor. At 120 pounds, not the biggest kid, strongest kid, but he's definitely a competitor.
You mentioned the club level too, and I mean that's one thing that I've noticed over the years is the teams that have that club level, the younger kids, and they bring them through the system. That usually is that really helps your program when you get to high school.
Yeah, absolutely. And our club had kind of fallen off. COVID kind
Oh
of
yeah,
derailed some of those
yep.
plans, and we have some elementary camps going on every year, and then our conference schools, mostly conference schools, have a little elementary league that they do on top of extra of that. But yeah, getting those kids in other rooms, and Travis Smith at Plymouth has the hybrid club, and there's places and avenues to get that experience and to compete, not just during the season, but in the off seasons, and having those kids go through that and get that experience. And almost, we talked about it, wrestling's a hard sport. You have to learn to love it, and
Man.
that's kind of the age when you start to develop that passion and the drive to succeed at it.
Well, Coach Owen, thank you for taking the time as always, and good luck to you as you move on down the road here. And we'll call you a little bit later and catch up when it gets a little bit further into the season.
Awesome, Rusty. Appreciate your time and including us into the coaches show.
It's Andy King, the head wrestling coach at John Glenn, and we'll be right back. Head coach of the Bremen Lions, Matt Miller, joins me in this segment of the coaches show. Our pregame, some of the things we talked about in the pregame on Tuesday, seeing the game then after that, you have to feel good about what happened because a lot of the things we talked about that you felt like you needed to get better at, it looked like you got better at.
Yeah, we did over the course of the game. I was a little frustrated the way the first half played out a little bit, but yeah, over the course of the game, the kids stayed the course and kind of hung to the scouting report and kind of kept at it. And this game ebbs and flows. A lot of times you got to stay the course and stick with the process, even when some things aren't going your way. So they did a good job with that, and eventually it all kind of came together, and we were able to pull away late.
Talk about what you saw. You've had a chance now to, probably look at it more than once on film and whatever. I mean,
Yep.
How do you break it down? What did you see?
Yeah, I think that I like the way we started. I think we got after a little bit, and then just got kind of stagnant, and we tend to do that on the offensive side. We got a little bit stagnant. Didn't get good looks in the second quarter, and that led to some easier Plymouth baskets, and they got some energy, and they started playing, harder on the defensive end, and just kind of made it frustrated. So that was good. We talked through some things at the half that we wanted to make some adjustments on. And those things really did play out in the film as I watched them back. Like you said, I mean, I saw guys make the right adjustments on how we were going to guard certain guys from Plymouth. I saw our execution was better. Our ball movement was better. So that was glad to see those guys listen and adjust, because sometimes with high school kids, you just never know what's going to happen at halftime. You're gonna take a break. Your brain goes to la la land sometimes. So it's good to come out of the half and know that they listened and did what we asked them to do.
Well, and the thing is that every coach I talk to, they talk about that middle eight, the last couple of minutes of the second quarter, the first of the third.
Yeah.
You guys came out in that third quarter. That was textbook of how you want to come out of that break.
It really was, yeah, because you're right. The first half of that, the way we closed the first half was not good. So that was, I was really, really happy. There was good execution. We got the right guys in the right spots. We got shots for the right guys. And yeah, we were keyed into the defensive game plan. So right away, we were able to force a timeout, maybe 2-3 minutes into the third, and had stretched that lead back out to 10. And that just puts you into position to be in, a place to win the game in the fourth quarter. If we can get to play quarters like that. So yeah, I was thrilled with it.
I know when we talked before the game, the athleticism of Plymouth, they've got some guys that are very athletic and very, very long and have an ability to get out and run the floor and things like that. I mean, you feel like you counteracted that well, because I know that was a concern.
Yeah, we did. Other than some specific stretches, I felt pretty good about it, and that was where I thought they could get them put the ball on the floor and beat us to the certain attack areas if we weren't careful. And so we kind of wanted to sit on right hands, and we want to play the right guys to shoot, the right guys to drive. So yeah, overall, I thought the scouting report, the guys did a good job with it. Even when we subbed, we knew who they're coming in for. Paid attention to who they were going to be guarding, and try to take those tendencies away. So yeah, I thought we did a good job on it.
And I got to bring up Riley Teener's name too. I mean,
Yeah.
he had a great game for you, not just with 17 points, but I mean, he was on the boards, he was active, he did a lot of really nice things.
Yeah, he did. And watching it back, I mean, I guess I knew it in the moment, but he scored in the little bursts. Like he had scored for us right off the top, and he got our first 5, and then out of the half he had another 5, just bang bang. So those little scoring bursts he put together were really key, especially whenever everybody's going to everybody regroups, and coming out of the half, I'm sure they wanted to not give Chase any buckets right out of the way. So it's nice to have a second scorer be willing and confident and step up and do what we asked. So yeah, he was great, and we're going to keep asking him to take more of that scoring load, and we want him to look forward to seeking his own field goal attempts. And so he's got to keep doing that, and know that we trust him, and we need his attempts to go up. We just do. So we need to have a firm second scorer to establish. I think it can be him for sure.
And, we talked about Bryce Miller before the game, wanting him to maybe take a bigger role. I thought he was really good down the stretch and did a lot of things during the game to help you.
Thanks. Yeah, he did a good, nice job. I agree with you. And especially late, like you said, he had a really nice, kind of similar to Riley. He had a big burst late in the third into the fourth that really helped to stretch the lead out. And it kind of took him a little while to kind of feel out the game and where he could attack and how. But yeah, once he got it going, he did give us a really nice shot in the arm. And I think he's really capable of doing those kinds of things. And we're going to need, we're going to need him to do that. He'll have to take advantage of the attempts he gets and attacking the basket will be really big for us. I think he's super capable playing at the rim. He's going to be more of attacking mindset. So I think he'll get there.
Talk about things maybe that you didn't like so much. I mean, as you go forward, what things do you got to get better at if you want to keep this thing rolling?
Yeah, I think overall, and it showed up in spurts at Plymouth, but our ball movement's got to be better. Like, we really want to build this offense on a ball movement, player movement offense. I mean, a good chunk of the time, we're gonna play a lot of possessions to no one's surprise, where we're gonna get Chase the ball and he's gonna do his thing. So we want to play a chunk of possessions like that. We want to play a chunk of possessions in transition, which I think it still needs to improve, where we get the ball out and go a little faster. And then I think the chunk that we're going to play in the half court in our motion offense, I think our ball movement just has a long way to go. We have a lot of guys that still, when they just catch and think too much, and the ball doesn't move side to side like we want it to. And so we want to create more advantages by getting that ball moving. So that was my biggest takeaway. And the film didn't lie on that. We had several possessions where the ball just got stuck, and we get frustrated ourselves and didn't get some good flow. So that's our main thing we want to clean up for sure. I think defensively, there's spots to improve, but I really like where we're at defensively. Just because we have guys we have good matchups in a lot of our games, where we have guys that can get after it pretty good on the ball, and we have a little bit of length to help us rebound. So defensively, I'm pretty happy with it, and certainly it's not perfect, but on offense, just got to get that ball moving.
And we're going to talk about Chase, I'm sure, a lot during the year. But one thing that I kind of noticed on Tuesday, it's one of the few players I've ever seen play that when he drives to the basket, a lot of guys get in there, they don't really know what they're going to do once they get there. I mean, they're good at getting there. He's got an exit plan. He knows where his dump offs are. If he doesn't go straight to the rim, he's got other things that he already knows he can do. I mean, like I say, he does go in there with an idea. He knows what's going to happen when he gets there.
He does, and that's a credit to him for all the work he's done. It's a credit for him to all the hours and hours he's played, all the games he's played. And yeah, you're right. His ability to diagnose on the fly is probably second to none from anyone I've ever coached. I mean, he's going to draw a crowd. He figures out a way to diagnose if he can, still score in that crowd. And if not, he knows where those help defenders are coming from. he's going to find the right guy. I mean, again, you feel it in the moment, but you're not sure. And then sure as heck, he had 7 assists and no turnovers at Plymouth. With he had the great scoring game, but he had 7 assists and doesn't turn the thing over. I mean, he get the ball in his hands all night. So that's a great observation. The way he diagnoses it when he puts it on the floor is really uncanny. And then to add to that, he's gotten a lot stronger physically, and he's just taking on bodies and scoring through contact and driving through contact, which makes him a really hard guy who was already hard to guard, much, much more hard to guard for sure.
I know it's the one thing Peyton said when he saw. He says, "Well, he spent some time in the weight room over the off season. He's a lot stronger
for sure." Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's one thing.
Talk about the rest of your schedule too. I mean, you have some games here. Maybe you feel like you ought to win. Sometimes those are the hardest ones because you have to. It's mental at that point. I mean, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to think about it. I think with the goals we have and looking over the schedule, I think that we need to stay hungry, so we're really trying to keep that in mind. I think we are. I don't see any reason to think that we won't be. I think we have a hungry group that's super focused. So I'm really hoping to not see that any kind of letdown along the way here, regardless of who we're playing. We've got pretty grounded guys that, and we also have guys that they have a lot to prove themselves. I mean, other than Chase, we have a lot of unproven guys, and they haven't gone out and shown a lot as far as wins and trophies, to say the least. So I think they think they know that they have a lot to prove night in and night out, and I think we have a hungry group, and so with our goals, I think we're going to attack each game like its own animal, and we're seeking certain goals of how we want to play inside those games, and I'm hoping that that's going to carry us through. And we got a lot of what we think of as big rivalry games coming up, really solid opponents. So I'm really excited about the schedule, and it should be a lot of good nights of basketball.
I was going to say, you got some. It's kind of backloaded too. I mean, you got some real challenges when you go down the stretch as well. So, it's gonna.
It is going to be tough down the stretch. You're right.
Keeping that even keel, it seems to me, would be the. Well, that's your job. I mean, that's going to be your challenge. Keep everybody right even.
No, you're exactly right. Yeah, February is going to be kind of murderer's row. Elkhart, Jimtown, Fairfield, Concord, Triton. It's going to be a lot, but that's okay. We know we want those teams on our schedule. So it's going to be, we're going to hopefully keep learning. Hopefully we'll be in a good place when we get there. And then, we're going to have to keep our heads about us and be ready to go each night because, this whole schedule there's just not a lot of letdown on there.
Well, man, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it. And we'll be in touch again soon.
I appreciate it as always, Rusty. Thank you.
Matt Miller, head coach at Bremen, and we'll be right back. And Michaela Shalio, the head coach of the Plymouth Lady Pilgrims, joins me. I mean, a good win for you guys against Riley.
It was. Our girls needed that W. We started out strong. Riley hung with us the rest of the night, but because we started out so strong, it gave us the confidence that we needed to finish out that game. One big thing that I was super proud of them for is in the fourth quarter, it looks a little bit different since we only scored 7 points, but what, people don't know when looking at the stats is we played an offensive possession for 2 minutes. And that's something that we've been working on for years. And the highest we've got is 45 seconds, and then it ends in a turnover. So for us to be able to play offense for 2 minutes straight and then end in a bucket, super proud of our girls for that.
I was going to say, that tends to be a goal of most coaches, to have those kind of possessions, to just because there's going to be times that you're going to need them.
Yeah. The second half, early part of the second half against Riley, we started to take some quick shots, not understanding, how much we were up and needing to value the basketball and take a great shot within the offense. We encouraged them to swing the ball to both sides because if we continue to play offense, Riley will break down. They will not play defense for 30 straight seconds. So, our girls started to do that, and the offense is a whole lot better.
And you make a good point there, too, because I've always heard from guys is that, a lot of teams that are athletic, they don't want to do anything for very long. They don't even want to play offense very long. And if you make them play a possession for a long time, either offensively or defensively, they're either going to get bored and take a shot, or they're going to get bored and let you take a shot. And that sounds like exactly what happened.
Both sides of the ball, that takes mental conditioning to be able to execute, whether that's on the offensive end or the defensive end. And I think we showed that last night.
Talk about some of your girls. I mean, it looks like Chloe is really, really, she's got some stuff put together, it looks like.
Yeah, she finished the night with 24 points. She had 9 rebounds. She's been close to a double-double a couple games that we've had. But she was hot from the three-point line early in the first half, and then did a great job finishing inside 2 feet in the second half. She was getting ahead in transition. We were able to ball ahead some, which was really nice. And then she finished 5 for 6 from the free throw line. Liv Warner, too, started out that game ready to shoot. And I knew she had it coming because she was showing us great reps in practice. The confidence has been building. She just needed it to happen in a game, and it did. So hopefully, this is the start of this is who Liv Warner is and what she's able to do.
I was going to say, she's kind of that wild card because she's got skills, but she kind of flies under the radar a little bit.
She does. And, she has the green light. For her, it's just she needs to believe what her coaches believe she can do, and her teammates as well. But she does also a great job of handling the basketball when we need her to handle the ball. So she's able to do a lot for us, and last night it was knocking shots down.
Talk about some of your younger girls, too. I mean, how do you feel about their development? You got some nice freshmen and sophomores that obviously just need some time on the floor. Do you feel like it's starting to click for them?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like our chemistry in general is growing. The deeper we get into our season, they play well together on both sides of the ball, and I don't think they needed to learn that they're no longer freshmen, sophomores. They're varsity basketball players, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter your grade. You're still going to play against varsity players, and I think they've stepped up to that physicality and speed. At times it's evident still that some of them are freshmen, just with the mental fatigue mistakes or not playing low enough and someone bodying you up. And that's all right. They'll learn from that. But I'm happy with the experience that they're gaining and the growth that they've made.
They made nice contributions, a couple of them, especially off the bench. I know in the past we've talked about, what Brooklyn Scruggs brings when she comes out. But, you got a starter in Hayden that looks like she's starting to get it. I mean, as the year goes on, there's really no ceiling. You guys could be really good by the end of the year as they round into it, it seems to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you said it, Rusty, because it's just you're not the only one who have said that, and it's just getting the girls to believe that, and I don't know what their expectations were heading into the season, what they thought was possible, but we kept telling them there's some teams that you can surprise. So we just got to continue to come in, every single day with a desire to get better, and it will show. Hayden has progressed throughout the season, finishing in the paint. Brooklyn, her defense, she's just an energizer bunny, and teams don't know what's coming when she's hitting the floor. Davis does a great job on the boards. I'm excited about where we're at and where we can be in January.
Well, I mean, we haven't even talked about your JV team. I mean, they've only lost one game. They've got girls playing extremely well. I mean, you got a lot of people on the way, and I guess what I'm saying is the future is bright, and the future could be now with a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to get those girls, the bubble girls, as many quarters as they can have. So we try to play them 5 quarters a night. So a lot of those girls who you're mentioning are coming off the bench for us in a varsity game are starting or not starting, because Jess does a good job of mixing them in throughout the game into a JV game, just so they can sustain that play for 4 quarters. So if we keep working hard and having a desire to just, be a sponge, learn, grow, watch basketball, we'll be in the right spot.
I mean, the key of that is, like you said, getting them on the floor. I mean, I know when I came back to town and started working on my dad's staff, I was in the younger levels. He says, nobody gets better by watching other guys play. He says, you got to get them out there and get them as much playing time as you can somehow. And that's exactly how you get better.
And we're able to do that even more so this year. This is the first year that we've had a C team since COVID. So, even getting those girls some game
Yes.
reps, and while the volume of games is not the amount that we would like it to be, they are getting those game reps so they can see the value of practice, and they've gotten a ton better from the start of the season to when they played Tuesday night. And so, I mean, we're making strides in the right direction. Girls are getting reps on the floor. It's a good thing.
Talk about your schedule coming up here too, because I mean you got a little bit of a streak going, and then you hit what is could only be described as a wall. Starts with Warsaw. You got Northwood in there. I mean, Glenn is in there. They're 7-2 so far. That's a gauntlet.
It is. And for some reason, we're back at Glenn this year. We were there last year. Glenn's a tough place to play, with their band sitting right behind our bench. All three teams that you just mentioned, they're going to apply a lot of pressure. They rebound the basketball really, really well, and they take care of the basketball on the offensive end. So we have to play great basketball to be able, to stay in that game against Glenn and Northwood. Warsaw, we have some different goals, and that's just compete, don't deflate. Warsaw's a different caliber, so we got to make sure that we can see, when things aren't looking the way we need it to look on the floor. Can we pull together and then show a stretch of our own, rather than just deflating?
Talk about how you feel about where you're at. I mean, is this where you wanted to be at this point in the year? Are you ahead the curve, behind it? I mean, how do you feel?
I mean, I know last time we talked about loving to get that Triton game back, and I would even add the Marion game back. I think, the way we've been playing now, if we play Triton again and Marion again, those two games could have different outcomes. But, the teaching point to our girls is you don't get those games back. And that's why every single possession matters. And I read them a poem, and it talked about, but coach, it's just one possession. And then at the end of the game, it's 2 point loss. So just teaching our girls that every single possession matters, because you can't get those possessions back. You can't get those games back. We're sitting at 5-4 right now. Uh, would love to be at, 7-2, but it is what it is. We got to keep grinding because our schedule does not get easier.
Well, that's why coaches go after turnovers. You can't have empty possessions and hope to win ball games.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and Riley, we had 5 possessions in a row where we had a turnover, and we had the least amount of turnovers that we've had all season against Riley. So we're making strides in the right direction, but we can't have, that many possessions in a row where we're not even getting a look at the rim.
talk about what you see when you look at Warsaw.
Um,
That's a loaded question, I guess.
I mean, they played at the state championship level last year, and that's, kind of the same team that they have this year. They're fast, they're strong, they're going to make you feel their pressure on the defensive end, no matter where their pickup point is, whether that's man pressing us full court or in the half court, playing their 1-3-1, they're extended 2-3, just half court man to man defense. They're very, very fast, and they're efficient in their offense. We got to make sure, that we, as best as we can, keep girls in front, because, if we have to help and rotate, they're smart enough to make the right reads with, driving kicks, driving dumps, driving back doors. So as best as we can, we got to keep girls in front, not fall for the fakes.
Talk about your goals for that game tonight. I mean, what do you want to get done? What do you want to get accomplished?
Hmm. Well, our keys to the game are transition defense, handling their ball pressure, snapping and meeting passes, identifying their 3 point shooters, because they do shoot the ball really, really well. And that's just needing to adjust to the game and finish possessions with, four of us finding the offensive glass and one getting back to find Zartman early in transition. Um, but, overall goal would just be play 4 quarters of Lady Pilgrim basketball with 5 girls together on the court who are wanting to compete at a high level. This is an opportunity for us to, really see where we're at against a high caliber team. Um, so that's just it. Just having the girls to see this as an opportunity to go out there and play. We're the underdog. You're expected to lose. Outside of that, whatever you do on the floor is going to dictate kind of what your outcome is. So we just have to play together, see it as an opportunity to be able to showcase what we can do and also areas where we can continue to work on and grow.
Well, thanks for taking the time as always, and good luck to you tonight. Get that W.
Appreciate it.
That is Michaela Shalio, the head coach of the Plymouth Lady Pilgrims. Alex Robinson, head coach at Bremen, joins me here in this segment of the Coach's Show. And, man, to say you're off to a good start is an understatement. I mean, I know you knew you had a special group, but when it started, did you think you'd be unbeaten at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of hard to look ahead that much, but, I think we all expected to get off to a good start, just because of the experience level we have coming back and everything. And, this is a group that's really been itching to hit the ground running here since, going back to last year or summer. So as far as the record's concerned, I'm not sure if we would have known we'd be undefeated at this point, but I think we expected to get off to a good start here.
Well, there's a couple of numbers that jump out at me. I think the first one is that defensively, you're only giving up an average of 29 points a game, and that's, I don't want to say it's astonishing, but that's really, really in another realm.
Yeah, I think we just have a really good group that obviously is playing hard out there every time we're on the floor, but we have a group that fills the right positions defensively for us. We've got scrappy guards, and then we've got, rim protection and rebounding inside this year, and we're able to be pretty dynamic. We can mix it up quite a bit, maybe more so than we have in the past defensively. So, giving different looks and just committing on that end. And there's always room to improve as well. I think there's a lot of things we can still get better at on the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, I think just an overall commitment and, just the ability to mix it up throughout the game has been huge for us.
You hit that on the head, too, commitment. I mean, that's what defense is. That's the cliche. I mean, it's about desire. And having seen you guys play, you've got girls that are they don't care what their role is that night. They just want to win. And it seems to me like they've sold out to whatever it takes to get it done that given night.
Well, and that's something that we talk about with our values within the team is that, we have to kind of accept our roles and not care who gets the credit and just trust in the process that, when everyone's going to get their opportunities throughout the game, you just got to, take it when it comes to you and work to get your teammates in the best position possible on both ends of the floor. And I think that's what really makes this group so special is that selflessness out there on the court and willing to do whatever it takes, whether that's on the offensive end or the defensive end of the floor, night in and night out.
And I got to say that the time I've seen you play, I knew your guards were going to be good. You have three really good ones, but the thing that really got me is the way they play together. I mean, it's just like this seamless. I don't know. It's just it's unique. You see talented players play that seamlessly together is really fun to watch.
Yeah, and they've played that way for a long time. That's really been the identity of the teams they've been on since they were in middle school. And you're right, it's really fun to watch, and they get along extremely well off the court as well. And there's really no ego involved. And, it's really tough to get that. A lot of times, even between close friends, you're going to have some of that creep in from time to time. But, there's really none of that within that group or within this team. So it makes it really enjoyable to be around. They trust each other and they want the best for each other. In turn, that ends up giving them a lot of opportunities as well. So, yeah, we've got a really good chemistry going within the team right now.
You got looking at your schedule here too, and the first 9 games. It's a nice mix. There's some games in there that are real challenges. There's others that maybe you look at them and say we probably should win those. But looking at it, you got to be proud of the fact that you've won the games, but you've won them the way you should have won them. It doesn't look like there's been we'll play at the level of them or something like that night. I mean, it's been a pretty solid, consistent performance night in, night out.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And that's something that, if we want to be a really good team, we have to be consistent. Every single time out, we have to be the same team that we would be against a team that, has a winning record versus a team that has a losing record, whatever it is. it really doesn't matter who's on the other side. We have to be consistent in our effort and our focus and our intensity. And, there's lapses from time to time, but we just haven't had that, night where we just come out flat and we just don't have it, or we're not motivated, or whatever it is. I've really been pleased that I think every single game we've approached the right way and come out with the intensity that, we're going to handle business. And, you're right. We've seen a diverse group of opponents, and that's exactly what you want. Teams that play different styles, different records coming into the game, whatever it is, because you want as many of those experiences as you can, as you go through the early part of the season.
Well, as you got to the late part, you got a ton of challenges coming. The Culver Academy's having a good year. Triton is a lot better than they have been. Valley's a good team. Northwood's in there. You got a lot of challenges coming up here down the stretch of the season too.
Yeah, you always look at the schedule and, you want to take it one game at a time, but it was pretty glaring that this stretch right here leading up to Christmas is really kind of the gauntlet of the schedule where, unfortunately last night we were postponed. We had a big game against Tippy Valley, and that'll be next Saturday now. But, that one, huge conference game. And then, tomorrow, Saturday, we're going to Michigan to play Lawton, who I know is a really tough team, but they've only played one game. So, we don't know a ton about them at this point. And then, like you said, Culver Academy right after that, that's going to be a game of the week. So, yeah, this is a tough stretch of the schedule where, it's one of those that you'd like to think prepares you for postseason or the end of the season. And we're looking forward to it. And, I think it's going to be fun. We're really looking forward to this Michiana Hoop Shootout coming up as well.
Talk about things maybe you see that you feel like you got to get better at if you want to stay on this run. What are the areas that you want to focus on that need to improve?
Yeah, I think there's a few things right now that we're really looking at, and I've seen some really encouraging signs our last couple games. I think, probably what any team would say, but valuing the basketball, is huge. This is a team that, when you talk about our experience in the backcourt, we should not be a high turnover team. Our goal is to have more assists than turnovers every time out. That's not always going to happen, but if we're getting up in the 20s and turnovers, that can't be who we are. So, at times it's almost seemed like we're playmakers out there, but maybe we get a little too aggressive or, trying to make the perfect pass when it's just not there instead of just making the easy pass, things like that. So valuing the basketball is big. Rebounding is huge. We had a few games last week, a couple weeks ago, where we got beat on the boards pretty badly. And, that just should not happen with the group that we've got. So I think we've really handled business there the last couple of games. Then just our approach, making sure that every single time out there, we're coming and we're focused. And like you said earlier, we're ready to be that consistent team that, every single time out, you can tell that we're ready to go out there and handle business. So that's really what we're working on right now.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time and joining us this morning, and good luck to you. I guess you have a game tonight in Michigan. Is that it? 4 o'clock game?
Yep. 4 o'clock game tonight.
You said they've
Lawton.
only played one game. Is they just start the season that late, or how did that happen?
Yeah, they start about a month after us.
Wow.
So, and they play. Yep. So kind of going in a little bit blind. We'll scrap together what we can about them, articles and whatnot. But good thing is, with us playing 9 games at this point, we've seen a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think we're a team that's prepared, and can adjust on the fly.
Well, man, once again, thanks for taking the time, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Alex Robinson, head coach at Bremen, and we'll be right back. And with me is our Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week. It is Lance Edison of LaVille High School, basketball player. Man, congratulations, and thanks for joining me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on the show.
Let's talk a little bit. You had just had a really great game the other night. You scored 20 points again, I guess, last night. How do you feel about your year so far? You where you want to be? Is this the kind of year you thought you'd have?
Definitely. I felt with Colin Zarnecki leaving, I felt like it was time for me to step up in my role, whether that was me or another player on the team. Like we had to step up as a collective to just continue to win games. Past couple of years, we've been a winning program, so just like that mentality of just stepping up. But yeah, I'm definitely pleased with how it's going so far. I mean, there's definitely things I'd like to improve on, but as of now, I'm pretty pleased.
Talk about your off season. I know that you none of this happens without taking that time and working on your game, even when it isn't the year. And talk about what you go through and getting ready for a season.
Well, summer, come into the gym, go through a workout with either my dad or myself, using the gun, just getting conditioned. I know we had like summer scrimmaging and stuff. Then when school season started, I would come in before school most days of the week and would do another workout. Sometimes my dad would be there, sometimes it would just be me. But just staying consistent, I feel like was the main key, whether that was working out with my teammates or just different people, just always being in the gym because when you're in there, it makes it better. Do something every day, you get better at it. But yeah,
I gotta believe you get into the weight room too. I mean, am I right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, that was definitely a key point of. I feel like since freshman year, when I realized the physicality level, that was definitely a point to just for really that. And I do track, so it's like you need to have some muscle to you just to
Right.
be able to endure through those workouts and games and stuff. So yeah, that's definitely a component of what has helped me to have early season success, I would say.
Talk about that transition. I mean, I've been around this a long time. I've always felt that the biggest transition in high school is that jump from junior high into even JV, but varsity even more so. That just gigantic jump there. What was that like dealing with that? Because I mean, you got a chance to contribute early, and that had to be tough.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was definitely very eye-opening, I will say. I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful looking back that I came off the bench and wasn't thrown into the fire. At the
Yeah.
beginning, I was a little disappointed. I'm like, yeah, I want to start. Like that was a goal I'd worked towards that summer going into my freshman year. But just I was very thankful after the fact, looking back, that I was able to have a lesser role so that I could kind of get used to it and get acclimated. But yeah, middle school to high school was probably the craziest jump in my basketball career that I had ever been through. That was just like it's so much faster, stronger. Just the defense, like you had to be there and at a top level, or else you weren't playing. So, especially with my dad.
Yeah, I know your dad. So, but I gotta think. The thing that comes to my mind is, a freshman comes in, even if you're a great player and you got a great game, if you're playing opposite a senior, and you mentioned defensively, you make a move that has always worked for you, and that senior looks at you and says, "Dude, I've seen that 100,000 times. That ain't gonna work here anymore." I mean, is that kind of what it felt like from time to time?
Oh yeah, I remember I loved my pull up, and in the first game I did it a couple times and they were just right there in my face. So then I had to like double clutch, and it was just like it ended up being a turnover basically because it was like a bad shot. Bad shots lead to turnovers. And so yeah, that was definitely hard. I wouldn't say hard, but it just took me a little bit to learn some new moves, learn what works and what doesn't work, taking
Yeah.
high percentage shots. And on top of that, it helps having that experience now that we have a couple freshmen on the team, so I can work through that if after practice or different things. I can show them moves or like how to get used to different situations, which
Right.
is a blessing.
Talk about the other guys with you. I mean, I know your family. I'm sure you didn't. The fruit didn't fall far from the tree. It's all about your teammates and what
Oh, of course.
what you can do for them, what they do for you.
hmm
Talk about your guys a little bit. I mean, you seem to have a pretty close knit group.
Yeah, we are very close. I will say I don't want to say too much. I don't know what other coaches are listening with our game Saturday, but man, Braden Foster, he's one of the hardest workers. Him and Ryan Monhu are the most gritty players, taking charges, getting rebounds, doing the stuff that like most players don't want to do because it just involves energy and you want to save your energy. But like they just do the little things good. And then Andre and Travis, they make some great passes. Like you think some of the times you think like, man, I don't know if they're going to be able to sneak it through. Like guys might be collapsing a little bit and they'll just sneak it through, man. And then trying to think some of the bench players or that don't start, but they come to practice every day and they compete. Like they make us better as a team. So while they might not be getting as much playing time or the praise, they come to practice and push us and like stay on top. Like some players, they come to practice, they don't know the plays, they're kind of messing everything up. But these guys, they know everything. They're on top of it. They're making us better. They're pushing us, which helps in the long run when you need some competition. And then once they step up and start playing, if there's an injury or something, it's like you don't have to worry about them knowing what's going on.
You know, it's funny you say that because I talked to your football coach, Jeff Geiser, every week.
Yeah.
Talked about the practice guys, the guys on the scout team that, you know, without them we don't get anywhere because they're the ones that are pushing all the other guys to be better every week. And I know in basketball it's even more important. Sometimes that guy that guards you in practice guards you harder than anybody you see in the game. It makes you better, and you guys appreciate that.
I totally agree.
Let's talk a little bit about being the coach's kid. I mean, we get the gorilla in the room. Talk about that because I was a coach's kid too. I know what that's like. I mean, I gotta feel like, you know, knowing your family the way I do, you and your dad, I'm sure, are really, really close, and I'm sure that you know you appreciate him helping you. I mean, you talked about him being there in the summer sometimes and stuff, and you know, having him as a mentor as well as a dad, I think is probably pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like the thing with him and then my grandpa also helping is that they with basketball and everything aside, they care more about how we carry ourselves, whether we win or lose, and they want us to be like have good character, good principles, different things that whether we lose or win by 40, that we don't get too high or too low, so just stay even. So that's one thing that I've really taken away from them is just like to not like get too arrogant when you're doing good because you can easily do bad right after. Also, I mean, my grandpa and dad, they study the game pretty well. So they do definitely help me out with moves, different things that they know will translate well because they've been around the game for a while. That's big. Trying to think, there's so many things.
You know, I'm going to tell you, it's funny that you said what you said simply because I remember I told you off the air, you know, 40 years ago when I started my career, your grandpa was the guy I was talking to. And I just remember almost every week after a game, the team that wins the game is the team that stays even keel. They don't get too high when things are going good. They don't get too low when things are going bad. And those are the teams that end up winning the game. And you pretty much just said that.
Yeah, I've been around him a lot. I hear the type of things they say. It's pretty much instilled in me now.
Let's talk about your future a little. Well, first of all, your family. I mean, your dad is Michael, but I mean, you got brothers and sisters. Your sister was a pretty good basketball player, but
Yeah.
mom's name, your sister's names. I mean, your family. Let us know about them.
So my mom's Emily, and she is has 7 kids. So I have a big family.
Okay.
So then I have 2 older sisters that both run track at Bethel. So they're pretty athletic, I'd say. That ran in the family.
Yeah.
And then there's me, and then I have 2 younger sisters. One's a freshman. She does not do basketball, but she's more of a track person.
Right.
And then my sister Sophie, that's in 7th grade. She'll be a player. She'll be a basketball player. You might be interviewing her in a couple years. I'll tell you what, she's pretty good.
Okay.
And then I have 2 little brothers, Luke, who's 4th grader, and then Jack, who's 4. So I don't know if you'll still be doing this, but they got some potential there. They've been around the game a lot. They like to try to play me, but
Well,
We keep it competitive.
give them a couple of years. They'll get
Yeah,
there. Believe me.
definitely. Yeah.
It's one thing that's in the Edison DNA. It's competitive. So yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
Well, that's got to be fun. I mean, it's got to be
Yeah.
good to have all those folks at different ages, and you can all share with each other.
Yeah, there's definitely never a dull moment around here.
How about you? I mean, obviously, you're just a junior, right?
Yep.
Okay. Have you thought about college yet? Are you thinking about what you want to do after high school's over?
Yeah, I definitely want to play college basketball at some level. That's definitely been a goal of mine since I've been little. Really about just reaching out to coaches and seeing how my season progresses, I'd say, and then going on with next year. But yeah, I'm very interested in playing basketball at some level in college and continuing my path in that.
Well, Bethel has been the family tradition. Is that in your sights? Or you have maybe you have another college you like to go to?
Yeah, Bethel would definitely be in the mix. I mean, I can't commit without an offer, that's for sure. But
That's for sure. Yeah.
but yeah, that's definitely on the list. I mean, I'm really just open to like who wants me. I want to
Right.
go somewhere where I'm wanted.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But so we'll just see as the season continues and into next year. But I'm open to really anyone.
How about in school? What's your favorite subject?
I'll say probably history.
Really?
I find it kind of interesting. Just like at least U.S. history, which I'm in right now, the different wars and things like that. I find that stuff pretty interesting.
Well, you're talking to a history major, so you just made me smile. Yeah, history is
Perfect.
history is fabulous.
I agree.
And so once eventually basketball is going to be over, no matter what. I mean, even you play pro at some point, you're going to have something to do. What would you like to do with your life after basketball?
I probably want to do something in sales. I'm not sure what yet, but I want to do something business sales related, whatever that looks like, but something along that path.
So I got a feeling that's what you'd go to college for, is that kind of degree?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Real good. Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time, letting us get to know you a little bit, and good luck to you. I'm sure we're going to run into each other at least once or twice here before the year's over.
Thank you.
It's Lance Edison, our Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week, and we'll be right back.